Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the This Is the Music Meets Podcast, an independent podcast show that's dedicated to introducing you to rising indie and alternative artists from across the UK and Ireland. If you're new here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes, and don't be shy. Drop us a comment, as we would love to hear from you. Right then, let's get straight into this week's show. It's episode 159, and I'm delighted to be joined by London rock and rollers IC1s, a London five-piece who came tearing onto the scene in the early 2010s, recorded their first single, Levitate, for just £50, and along the way won the praise of McGee, earned support from Steve Lamacq, got signed by LIbertine, and have shared the stage with some legends of the indie scene, and as well sold out the famous London Scala. They're just some of the things that we're going to cover on today's show, and including as well is the band's debut album, What Took You So Long, and also as well selling out Dingwalls in Camden for a huge album launch show. So it is a very warm welcome to Jesse and Dan from the IC1s. Welcome along to This Is the Music Meets Podcast. How you both doing?
Doing well, mate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, it's good. Obviously, we've been chatting a little bit on and off, over the last sort of 4 or 5 months, I think, something like that. So yeah, it's nice to obviously finally meet you both in person.
Absolutely, mate.
And you.
Wicked. Look, there's obviously a lot to cover, as I said there in the intro. Obviously for the release of the debut album, Dingwalls, and also well finding out about your sort of future plans and sort of looking ahead into sort of 2026. But maybe for those This Is the Music listeners who haven't come across you yet, how would you sort of describe the sound, the attitude, and sort of the DNA of IC1s?
Jesse?
Well, I was waiting for you to do that one, to be honest, mate.
Don't know, it's kind of a combination of all the music that everyone loves, I think. And the attitude, that's just natural, I think.
Yeah. I think, we're probably the sum total of all of the things that we listen to and the things that we're influenced by, but I don't think that puts us necessarily in the same bracket as a lot of bands. I think there's something about us that is different to a lot of other bands, and we were talking about it after our support within Spirals the other day, where we realized that we were really quite heavy and about as heavy as you can get in the genre without being something else. So that kind of only dawned on us now in 2025, sort of 15 years after actually starting the band. We were heavier than we thought we would be, because when we first got together, we just kind of got lumped into an indie kind of category.
That's not really how the writing process started, though. I mean, a lot of it was influenced. Me and my brother-in-law, we were writing, and we just kind of wanted to write stuff grungy, like Nirvana. We wasn't really expecting to do anything with it. And then obviously we're not grungy and we're not Nirvana. So we got labelled in the indie thing. So as Jesse says, it's a bit heavier than what other people. I mean, when we played with the Inspiral Carpets the other day, and I think it was their merch guy, and he was like saying that we were talking about Kendall Calling. We wanted to play that, and he was saying, "You're too heavy for it. We'd have to strip down." Wow. And that was like, wow. We wanted to go heavier.
Yeah.
These are the soft songs, guys.
Yeah, that's it. Even the soft songs are pretty heavy, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, we've got balance as well, like Beautiful Ugly and Talking in Silence and Soul on Trial, which are all on the album. Like, they are softer songs, but they still kick off in the choruses. They still kind of elevate up. But yeah, I think we're kind of punk. I don't want to say punk rock, because we're not punk rock by definition, but there's definitely punk. There's punk in there for sure.
What was it? It was like post Britpop punk rock type shit. Whatever that fucking means. It's just the album just sounds great, man.
It does actually. I think it's definitely one of my favourite albums of the year, without a shadow of a doubt. Do you, just going back there on the whole label, people saying, "Oh, you're indie," or you're Britpop, post Britpop, whatever it might be. Do you think that people get a little bit like too obsessed with, or too quick to throw a label at a band the minute, you know, on the first song, for example, that they hear and just go, yeah, they're whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think people naturally do that, don't they? With anything, they want to categorize it straight away, which is limiting. To define it in that way is limiting. It's just like you can't just throw people's art in with other people's and say, okay, well, it's this. Do you know what I mean? Because you're missing some of the unique parts of what make that thing that thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we tend to just our approach to it is let's turn up, let's blow everyone away, and let's leave. And that, I'm not too bothered about the genre stuff. It's more like we're going to do what we're going to do. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, well, that's on you, isn't it?
We haven't got there yet, really, have we? People tend to like it, to be fair, and maybe it's something it's a niche in the market, something that's missing, because you get too many soppy shit bands, don't you? We haven't had any lively bands for a long time, so that's where we come in.
It's like, where are the lively bands, and that probably separates us a little bit as well, I think, because there's not a lot of bands that are out there kind of doing it like that, you know.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree. Obviously, you've released your debut album. What took you so long? About a decade after splitting up. Obviously, probably not the traditional career path within the music industry. So when you obviously got back together,
but you're starting to get it now. That it's not very traditional, is it?
Everything you think you know does not apply to this band. Yeah.
No, they're very, very true. So when then did the idea of releasing the album, finally become real? At what point? When did that come about?
Well, initially it was just a reunion show that we were going to do, which we did last October at Camden Assembly, which sold out in like days, basically, which is for a band like us, who's like we were pretty chuffed with that. Yeah. And then when you're on stage, you're feeling it, and it was kind of like, fucking hell, it's good to be back. And we didn't want it to be the last time we did it. So then the album was the natural thing to do. We had the songs, we had the will to do it. I'm working now, so we had the money to do it as well. So it just came about, and the recording, we couldn't be more proud of it, really. It's superb.
What's interesting is, when we reformed, the idea was purely to do that one show, like Dan says, and we hadn't really thought much above that. And it was kind of for me, it was about keeping the band together to make sure we could actually even play the show. So we played the show. Obviously, Dan said it, it went well. And then the next day, I was sitting there thinking, oh man, we're going to have to do something else now. I don't think we can't just leave it like that, because the show went so well. So we can't really do it. So I put together like a proposal, right? Almost like a business proposal to the boys to say, look, let's go do an album. This is what it will cost us.
It's so boring.
I know, right? This is how much it will cost us across 12 months. That's how much it will cost us per day if we did this album. Like, I went all the way down to try and, if I needed to pitch it. As soon as we jumped on the call together, all of us, everyone was like, should we just do an album then? So I'd spent like an hour putting this thing together to try and propose it, but everyone was just like, yeah, let's do it. So it kind of came naturally off the back of the show going well.
Yeah, sure. And obviously, I did get it wrong in the intro, but I'll get it right this time. The album's obviously flown past 100,000 Spotify streams, which is obviously a massive, massive achievement, even considering, sort of like that sort of little hiatus that you had. Kind of like, how surreal then has it been, watching this album sort of grow and obviously find a new audience? Because obviously, just saying there that, business proposal after that one show. So when you were having that conversation about making an album, did you actually think that it was going to, get to that sort of number?
I mean, for us, we've always wanted to do an album, and we never got around to doing it the first time. And the kind of journey to try and get signed back in the day actually obstructed us from doing an album. But we always knew that if we did an album, it would likely land with people.
Yeah,
we've always believed in it, even when it didn't exist. We knew that if we do an album, it's gonna be great, because we knew we had all the songs, and we felt that the songs were good enough. So on one hand, I think we're obviously not surprised because we thought it would go well. But on the other hand, I think we're quite humbled by it all because it's like, okay, well, the people that you would expect to like it, great. But actually, there's a whole bunch of new people there that are looking at it and going, this is really great. And I don't think we had really thought necessarily that it was going to do that. I think we thought, okay, let's do it for us. Let's get it done. The people we know will like it, will like it. We didn't anticipate that there was actually going to be this whole next chapter for the band. Like no one saw any of this. So yeah, to see people now, especially after the show the other night of Spirals, like all of the new fans we're getting and people commenting on all the posts and stuff going, I'm listening to this, it's the best album I've heard this year. Like that's insane. None of us saw that coming. Do you know what I mean? Sound a little bit like I'm gloating a little bit, but I actually am humbled by it. Like it's pretty.
I'm fully gloating.
Yeah, no, you gloat. I tell you what, you gloat. I'll be the humble one.
But the thing is, though, if I truly believe if we'd have recorded it 10 years ago, it wouldn't sound the way it does right now. I think the time that it's spent for us to do it has actually benefited the album itself. It sounds amazing. The producer we used, he's magic, I think, to be honest with you. It's just come together brilliantly. And that's Michael Smith at RYP, by the way.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the things that you're just mentioning there, Dan, about that you didn't think it would have done as well 10 years ago. And I guess some of that is probably because of, where maybe the industry was 10 years ago, because it was probably still working out things like Spotify and Apple Music and all the rest of it.
Well, Spotify had only just started existing when we split up.
Yes.
We had like two. When we went back, we only had like 2 or 3 songs on there, Jess.
Yeah.
And I think over that 10 years, those songs, I think the one that culminated the most hits would have been Levitate, and I think it was 10,000, and that took 10 years.
Yeah.
So we've come back and we've hit 100K in a month. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, timing is everything in this industry, and I feel like we've landed in a place where this is needed again.
Yeah.
And we got it. We got it.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at the obviously what you recorded with the album, were these all the original sort of like untouched recordings that you had, or did you rework anything specifically?
Well, we did sort of like a pre-album recording with Barney Barneycott. So we had these demos. So when we got back to, when we decided to do the album, and we fucked off Jesse's proposal and we just said we're going to do it anyway. we had a look at all the songs that we had, and the way the band works now, it's very democratic, very, very annoying. And we vote on everything, and we have to because everyone gets their say. So we voted on the songs, and the 12 that we voted for, the ones that are on the album. So we do still have songs in the bag, and me and Jesse have been writing a load of songs. So there's loads of stuff going on. Was it easy to pick the songs? No, there was a few disagreements on that, but majority rules, and that's the album that we have now.
But to expand on that, they're all new versions of those songs, with the exception of Soul on Trial, which is brand new and that me and Dan wrote like last year. Everything is a reworked version of those original songs that, to Dan's point, got recorded in various. I mean, we spoke about it before. We did about 5 versions of Whack Jack over the years, and then this is the final version. I mean, to the point where the producer was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, we're gonna have to do Whack Jack again." Do you know what I mean? And we had left it to the last minute to do because it was like no one wanted to touch it again because we recorded it so many times. But these songs, these versions now on the album are the songs in their final form.
Yeah, sure. Okay. And just for both of you, really, if you had to pick one song that sort of for you sums up what IC1s are all about, what track are you going to choose?
Guess he already knows mine, so I'll let him go first.
I do know. I would probably pick Grown Up Going Down, just because thematically, kind of what it represents, I think, resonates with me and the kind of identity of the band growing up in London. Kind of this idea that life was supposed to be one thing, but actually it's something else. I mean, I'm inferring the meaning of the song onto your lyrics there, Dan, but for me, that represents the band, the origins of the band, where we're from. Do you know what I mean? And musically, it's big, and it's raucous, and that's what we're about. So I'll probably pick Grown Up Going Down.
Okay. Dan?
I'm going to pick Levitate. It's kind
Surprise, surprise.
of, it's kind of always been my favourite track. It's dirty, but at the same time it's heartfelt. It's punk, but at the same time it's soul.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a little touch of everything in there. And I just think it's a really uplifting song. And when you play it live and you see the reaction, that's what. But then again, Jesse's right with Growing Up, Going Down, because a lot of people say like that's the best song on the album. I think that's probably one of the good things about our album is everyone seems to have a favourite track and it's different.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got to be doing something right. No filler. But Levitate for me, which I think is actually #1 in our Spotify charts at the moment.
Is it?
So
Nice.
it's not just me that thinks that.
That's just you listening to it over and over.
Growing Up, Going Down. Growing Up, Going Down is third.
Is it?
Yeah, with Whackjack in second. So
Watch out, it's only second, blimey.
it's got the most hits, but recently I think Levitate is the one that does it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
We're all learning something new.
What's your favourite song?
Do you know what? I'll be honest. It changes quite a lot. But at the minute, I'm going to say Armada.
Oh, nice.
I just like it. Just hits you straight away. You know, as an opening track, how it just comes straight out and just goes. You know, kind of what you guys have been saying already. You know, this is us. This is IC1s. Come and listen to us, and if you like it, you're going to like it. This is it. This gives you a sort of a bit of a flavour. If you talk about the different styles as well in some of the later tracks in the album, but this is what we're about. You know, chuck the guitars on, whack the amps up, and
Yeah.
Oh, you've seen us before.
I'm familiar with our work.
and obviously, Dan, as well, you just mentioned obviously your favourite track being Levitate, but let's just rewind a little bit because obviously that was the first single back in 2011 that you recorded for about 50 quid, I believe. Do you remember, like, as a band, like, you know, what was that excitement like of having your first single out and sharing it in with the work, you know, sharing it with the wider world?
Well, Jesse's got a good start to this story because basically I think he got a phone call. Go on, you carry on.
Yeah, no, I was sitting there, so we recorded it and we put it out. Back then it was iTunes, so we were asking people to download it, you know, saying to our mates like, oh, you know, do us a favour, download this. And I'd taken the day off work just to sort of sit around and appreciate the fact that we'd done that. And as you do, sort of thing that I do. And
walk around the house with a crown on, yeah.
Yeah. You were there. And my best mate rang me up and he goes, oh, you know, you're in the charts, don't you? And I was like, oh, you know, it's my best mate. I thought he's winding me up. And I was like, shut up, you know, go home. And he was like, nah, check the iTunes charts. You're in the iTunes charts. So I did, and lo and behold, we were there. And it was a really surreal moment. And I talk about this in another thing. I literally rang Dan up straight away and I was like, listen, get everyone together. We need to go to the pub. You know, but my natural response was like, okay, something good's happened. Let's go to the pub and you know, get so drunk we can't even remember that it's even happened. But yeah, and me and Dan, I think, wore sunglasses for the next 6 weeks. You know, just in, you know, dark rooms, anywhere we went, just, you know, instant rock stars to us. To be in the charts was insane. And I think that week as well, it was on Soccer AM.
Wow.
So it was like, oh, okay, cool.
I think we got like the League 2 goals.
Yeah.
We weren't quite Premier League at that point.
We weren't Premier League. No. Well, that's what you get for 50 quid though, right? But yeah, so it was surreal. It was a bit nuts. But that planted the seed, you know, maybe in retrospect, good or bad, but it planted the seed in us to kind of, that said, well, actually, you can go and do stuff with this. Do you know what I mean? This isn't just a pub band. This is something that you can do something with.
Yeah, we split up.
Yeah, so then we split up. Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking as we were talking about that, we've been split up for longer than we've actually been a band.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Wow.
10 years split up. We've been a band for like 5 years all in, maybe.
Well, including the reunion.
Yeah, so what, 2010 to 2014, and then 2024 to now. So it's 5 years.
Yeah.
We should probably split up again, to be honest. Going on.
It is what we do.
It is what we do.
We're
Well,
laughing about it. We'll wait and see what happens.
We'll announce the second album and then we'll just split up. Create a little bit of hype. You know?
That's it. Nothing sells better than doom.
That's it, absolutely. Yeah, well, we should have a word with a few other people. But obviously, just before you did split up, obviously you were lauded by Alan McGee. I'm sure everyone, I'm not going to list here all the bands that he found and his label and all that. How did that come about, and what sort of impact did his sort of like recognition have on you?
I think we started playing. We had a residency at the Deaf Disco, which is Notting Hill Arts Club.
Yeah.
At the time, and he was the DJ, basically. So that's how our paths crossed, basically. And then we started playing a few more shows where he DJ. I think we ended up in a town called Mountain Ash in Wales,
Right.
like in the valleys, and it was a strange experience. I remember walking into the pub and the whole place just went quiet. Everyone, like, the jukebox went off, pints went down, faces turned around, and there was these 5 fucking cockneys walking in. But I don't even remember the show, actually. I just remember that bit.
He took us on tour, didn't he, in Wales, and we ended up playing these weird like backwater places, and that was one of them. But that pub had something to do with like Happy Mondays or someone or like Bez or someone owned that pub. So it was like a Britpop pub, you know what I mean, in the middle of nowhere in Wales. So it was like, yeah, go play a set at this pub and I'll DJ, which is what happened. But it was just weird because at Dan's point, all the locals were looking at us like, who the fuck are these lot? Just, rolling off of a tour bus, like super tight skinny jeans, like long hair, sunglasses on in the middle of Wales.
Parker in fucking August.
Yeah, and I remember after the set, like, we must have won them over a little bit because I felt a little bit less like they were going to kill us.
We didn't get chased out.
We didn't get chased out. Yeah, we just got kind of ushered out. but yeah, no, that was our involvement with Alan. He used to DJ shows and just sort of just be Alan McGee. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and obviously not just him, but obviously Steve Lamacq as well was obviously sort of championed you as well back in the day. I mean, when you look back on it, getting that sort of recognition and stuff like that, does that when you look back at it, like bloody hell, McGee, Lamacq, does that still surprise you that it happened, or are you always that confident within the tunes that you had at that time that this is fully deserved?
But I think to go back to your question about like what impact that had on us, and to some degree what I mentioned before, whether or not it was good or bad, I think the early stages of the band and the various sort of accolades that we got spurred us on to believe in it even more than we already did.
Right.
So it was like, from that point, we believed that was relevant for us.
What you mean is it made us cockier?
I mean, I didn't want to put it like that, but yeah, I mean, for anyone watching who knows us, they'll know what I mean. But like, yeah, it gave us that belief, and I think we said that in the credits on the record. I think it says to Alan McGee for giving us the belief or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Because it was a big deal for us, and the things that were happening were a big deal. But at the same time, we also felt like it was appropriate. I don't know. It's a weird one.
It was deserved, almost.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens in the future. Maybe we'll get back on Steve Lamacq's show.
Yeah, definitely.
But he'll have to do the begging.
Yeah.
He will have to do the begging.
Yeah, I think so. Come on, Steve.
You heard it there, Steve. If you're listening, you heard it. The challenge has been set. And obviously as well, you were recognisable by LIbertine as well. How can you remember? How did that happen? I'm guessing it was potentially through a connection with McGee, because obviously I know he was obviously involved with the LIbertines for a while. Yeah. So I'm guessing potentially a band that you looked up to, sort of, they were probably the sort of, I guess, the band of that era, I suppose.
Well, it came from, so McGee, we had McGee's PR girl was our manager at the time when we first started. And she knew Gary. Obviously, McGee knew Gary, but like she introduced us to Gary. So we signed with him, and so in a roundabout way, it did come from McGee.
But it was what was his name? I can't even remember. The other guy on 25 Hour
Oh, Richie.
Richie. So it was Richie from 24 hour, 25 hour convenience store, I think.
25 hour, yeah. That's Gary's label, yeah.
Yeah, so basically that was the in, I think. And then we went into the studio and recorded a song called Karma, which I think we all despise at the moment. Jesse certainly does. He hates the recording of it anyway, but I don't think you'll ever re-record it, will you?
No, I'd like not to.
Yeah.
Like not to.
I think we did that for charity for Shelter as well, didn't we? So any proceeds went to that.
But I think at that time we were so poor, we were homeless, so we just kept the money.
Yeah. as much as the £10 that we got.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, I think we split that, didn't we?
Yeah. I think we went in and we ended up paying for our own recording anyway.
I can't even remember, mate. I'm struggling to place any of those memories.
Yeah, those sort of times are a bit hazy, to be fair.
Yeah, for sure.
Understandable. So let's fast forward sort of back into the sort of like the present day. Well, a couple of weeks ago to be exact, because you played a sold out Dingwalls as an album launch party for What Took You So Long. What a way to return. How was it? Because as I said before we started this podcast, I personally heard some very good things. So yeah, from your point of view, what was it like being back up on that, such an iconic stage?
Best place to be, mate. When you're in a band, you just want to play live, and it was a year. No, because I think we managed to support the Rifles. Was it before or after? It was a week or two before. So we supported the Rifles, and then we did the Dingwall show, which was our big sold out show, and it was wonderful. I want to get back there now.
I think a couple of things on that. Like obviously that for me felt like the sum total of reforming and doing the album. That was the culmination of that year of work, I guess.
Yeah.
Of recording it all and getting it out there and kind of pushing it. So it felt special from that point of view. And then obviously the ceremony of selling out that venue. Do you know what I mean? It's a prestigious venue. Everyone's played there, and in the build up, I was thinking this is actually pretty nuts. Like, Sex Pistols played here, or Blondie or Noel Gallagher or the Foo Fighters played there recently. Do you know what I mean? It's like Robbie Williams played there a week before, and I was like, okay, fine, we'll put him in there with everyone else.
I thought you were going to leave him out. Actually, can you cut that?
Yeah. Well, his album's called Britpop, so we'll let him in.
Post Britpop, Jess. Post Britpop.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we'll cut that out. Fine. But yeah, so there was that part of it as well. It was a moment for us as a band as well to kind of arrive there, especially after all that time. It's kind of like we wouldn't have been able to do that back in the day. We wouldn't have been able to play Dingwalls. They wouldn't have booked us. We wouldn't have sold it out. None of that. So it's like it represents as well how far we've come since we've come back in that short year since we've been back.
Yeah, I mean a lot of the thoughts as well on the gig, they're kind of more in reflection, because when you're stepping on the stage, before you know it, you're stepping back off again, and like you don't really know. So it's kind of, we were watching videos the other day, and everyone was singing the words back at us at songs that we didn't really expect them to do that to. So that's humbling. And the reviews afterwards have been fantastic as well. I think someone said that I was a blend of Liam Gallagher, Mick Jagger, and Ian Brown.
Wow, that's not bad company, is it?
I also I heard someone else just call you a prick.
Yeah. Well, some people do call that of Liam Gallagher, of Mick Jagger, and of Ian Brown. So maybe I'm just triple the prick.
Are we allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
This is where we do our best work.
This would be a lot of editing otherwise.
Yeah, the other side. Yeah. No, it's all good. We just press a little button and it magically tells everyone.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, to Dan's point, when you're on stage at that show, I the lights are on, you can't really see what's going on. You just you're doing the bit, and I didn't really notice people singing along necessarily. There's certain songs I did, but not in the more quieter songs like Beautiful Ugly or Solo on Trial. But then seeing people's videos from the audience and sort of living it from their perspective, I was like, wow, that was awesome. That sounded great. Yeah. Is that what you guys get to see? That is great.
Never seen us.
Yeah. I remember we did a sound check at what was then the Barfly, which is now Camden Assembly. Yeah. And we always had this joke. It's like, we'll never get to see IC1s. That's a real shame, right? Being the sort of arrogant dicks that we are. So during sound check, I walked to the other end of the venue. I got like a 30-foot guitar lead, walked to the other end of the venue, and we played Growing Up, Going Down, and I got to watch the band, which was just great.
It was better because you weren't on the stage, really.
It was, but for me, there was something missing then. There was something missing. I can't put my finger on it, but yeah.
Must have been your backing vocals.
Yeah, it probably was, mate.
And sort of looking back about last weekend, because you supported the Inspiral Carpets, obviously such a iconic and legendary band. You played in Northampton, and the next one you're going to be playing on the 10th of December at the Cambridge Junction. So, what was it like sharing the stage with Inspiral Carpets? Because they're a band that I think everybody loves.
Yeah, Inspiral Carpets are great. I think I first started listening to them. Well, like many people, I'm a massive Oasis fan. So, Inspiral Carpets and Noel Gallagher are intertwined with each other. So, I think they feature on every playlist I have on Spotify, and I'm a fan. So to actually play with them is a bit of an honour, and I can't wait to do it again, honestly. And I'd love to keep doing it if they let us.
Yeah. Well, we played a couple of shows with them back in the day, and in 2014 we played at Bedford Corn Exchange with them, which is a really awesome venue, and then we played another show in Scunthorpe. And I mentioned this elsewhere, like it's the one and probably only time I'll ever be in Scunthorpe.
I don't even remember that. I thought I'd never been to Scunthorpe.
You wiped it.
I was happy in that knowledge.
Yeah, sorry, mate. You were there. You were there, and you were being a right prick as well.
Okay, that's all right then.
But yeah, so we did that back in the day, and then we split up pretty soon after, and then we've obviously reformed, and then we're back playing shows with them. And I'd actually forgotten, kind of the level that they're at. Do you know what I mean? And how sort of professional they are. And it's kind of like, oh shit! And get into the venue. It's a big old venue, and they've got their crew and all that stuff, and it all runs seamlessly. And I'm thinking, oh shit, this is the real deal, man. What have you just walked back into?
Yeah, our sound check at Dingwalls took 4 hours, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. but yeah, no, we're so grateful for them guys to have us on, because it's not every band gets to kind of reform and then go back in or even form and go back in and play with a band like Inspirals. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we watched their set from the back, and they were just spot on. Like,
yeah,
everyone was having a great time. Like, they're at their absolute peak, clearly. So yeah, it's a privilege to do it.
Yeah, and obviously, I'm assuming you got to hang out with them before the gig. Did you get to hang out with them after the gig? Was there, sort of any, sort of advice flying around or anything at all, or any comments on your set as a band?
I gave them quite a lot of advice, actually. No, we hang out with them briefly before the gig. After the show, you probably won't get near them anyway. I think they were moving on to the next one. But we'll see him again in Cambridge. There's a famous photo of Noel Gallagher and Clint Boone holding hands. And when we played with them in 2014, I recreated that photo with Clint Boone. But I don't know where it is. So in Cambridge, I'm hoping to get that one again.
Yeah.
If you're watching, Clint, moisturise those hands, mate. I'm coming.
Yeah.
No, that sounds bad. I should go back to work, honestly.
Yeah. So on every This Is The Music Meets podcast, we ask our guests a series of questions that are hopefully designed to be a little bit more sort of like light-hearted and sort of help the listeners find out a little bit more about the artist that we are chatting to. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what was the first album that you ever bought?
You can't ask me that.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be different.
It's going to be some horrors in here, is there?
No, growing up, when albums were bought for me, it would be Michael Jackson. I was really into when I was younger. But the first album I actually bought out of my own money was Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg. And my mum hated it. I used to have the speakers pointing out the window so the whole road could hear it. It's still a great album.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, it's the same as Michael Jackson. Whatever album come out in like 92 or 93, was it?
Dangerous,
yeah. I think it was the first track on that one, Jam or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's not really one I revisit, if I'm honest with you.
I'm going to revisit after this.
Listen to Off the Wall, that is the pinnacle.
And I'm not gonna name the second album I bought because I know what it is and it haunts me to this day.
Right Said Fred, wasn't it? You told me
It
the other
wasn't. That was the third album.
day.
Wow, it got even worse after that. Wow.
Yeah, no, stick with Michael Jackson, mate.
Just goes downhill, and now it's IC1. You know.
Going back up, yeah.
Obviously, we mentioned obviously supporting and are going to be supporting in Spiral Carpets. But is there any other band that you'd love to support?
Yeah, Oasis at Nebworth next year if it gets announced. I don't mind opening up for them, get the crowd going.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we'll have to see if we're not busy. I might have something else on. You know what I mean?
Got a wedding to go to or something.
Yeah. That's the day I sit and listen to the Right Said Fred album, actually.
Was you thinking deeply about that? Yeah.
Yeah, no, Oasis for sure, of course, man.
100%.
You know me though, I love Kings of Leon. I'd have a bit of that.
But you like the wrong Kings of Leon.
I know.
You like the early good stuff. I
like the late stuff.
Yeah, no, the early. I went everywhere to see that band. Like those first three albums, they were incredible.
They're untouchable, aren't they? They're a superb album.
Yeah. And I think for me, I always used to say, wouldn't it be amazing? I've seen them in these small venues. They're getting bigger and bigger. Wouldn't it be amazing to see them get, really big? And they played Wembley Arena, so it was just when like Sex on Fire had come out, and all the old stuff was coming on, jumping around and all that sort of stuff, and everyone's like looking at you like, who are these people here jumping around?
Yeah.
And then of course Sex on Fire comes on, and everyone's cheering in and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever the next song that come, I don't know, it might have been Tranny or whatever it was, sitting there sort of like singing along to it, and they're all just standing around going, listen to this, man, this is really good. But after that, I think I've seen them once at a festival, but
I saw them at Hyde Park a couple of years ago. Maybe it's a few more than I think, but they were playing all the new stuff and everything, and like you're saying, like the crowd was singing along, and I was just like, oh fuck this, man. And then they did like a whole 45 minutes of all the old stuff.
Oh,
it was fantastic, and all the other wankers, mate, they didn't have a clue. They didn't have a clue what it was. Wow. So, I mean, fuck no, what a band they were.
Yeah, definitely. If you had to cover one song at one of your gigs for the rest of the time, what song are you going to choose?
That's a difficult question.
That is a tough one.
Because my favourite song changes every day. So at the moment, I would say I want to do What Is Life by George Harrison because I can't stop listening to it.
Oh, nice. What a choice.
Great song, right? And we've been playing Band of Gold by Frida Payne. We did an acoustic version years ago with a string quartet. And then we played like a punkier version at our show at Dingwalls. So I guess that's part of our history. So I guess we would be playing Band of Gold.
Mm-hmm.
We used to do a punky version of Day in the Life as well, didn't we? And in that bit when it transitions, you've got that, I don't know what it is, that wall of sound that happens before Paul comes in. When we did it the one time we did it, someone recorded it, and we've all got this conspiracy that someone actually played the track for that transition because it sounded just like the record.
No, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
We can't work out how we got it to sound like that, what feedback, what noises we were making, whatever. So I would say we would have that in our set so that we can keep playing it to see if we can ever do that again.
I still don't think it happened. I still believe that our guitarist John, he's the man behind putting that sound in because it is identical.
It's really weird. It's really, really strange.
It's actually on YouTube.
It is somewhere, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go and check that out. There you go. There's something for everyone to go and have a little listen to after they've checked out the podcast, of course. Obviously, Christmas is just around the corner. So are you two one of those people that are blasting Christmas tunes out in November, or do you wait until like about the week before?
Well, I listen to Stay Another Day by E17 every single day. So
you start January 1st.
See, that Right Said Fred shit don't sound so bad now, does it?
Listen, there's nothing wrong with E17.
Yeah.
No, they've had a couple of decent. Was they the second album then that you ever bought? Are we getting closer?
No, I would openly admit to that one. It's worse than that.
I don't really like
Wow,
Christmas
that's
songs.
impressive. If it's worse.
Yeah, it is.
No, I won't be listening to Christmas songs at any point. I mean, there's no point in putting Christmas songs on because it just fucking hounds you everywhere you go in December.
Yeah,
So obviously the Fairy Tale of New York, my dad used to sit us around the radio when we were kids to listen to that before it became massive over at Christmas. Other than that, you don't really get new Christmas songs, do you? I think the last most popular Christmas song that ever came out was the Mariah Carey one, and they're just done with it now. No one does any more Christmas songs.
No.
yeah. She ruined Christmas, is what you're saying.
Yeah, she'll be getting out of her fucking cave now, won't she? Getting ready.
She will, yeah. And I don't
Counting the
think
money.
Christmas isn't about the music anyway. It's about just watching The Office on repeat.
I'm
You know what I
100%.
mean?
And that's what me and my brothers will do that at Christmas.
Mm.
Sit around and watch The Office again.
What,
Obviously,
Like we don't do it through the year as well.
yeah, yeah.
what version?
Oh, shut
you
up.
hate
Is that a real question?
Come on. Come on.
David Brent, come on.
I remember actually, I tweeted Ricky Gervais once and said that 50% of being in a band is literally just quoting The Office. And he retweeted it. He knows. He was in a band. He knows.
Yeah, he was.
Right.
Yeah, back many
Is there any
years.
more questions? Because I'm getting shouted back.
Yeah. What's your go-to Christmas dinner essential, or the
Oh.
one thing that you'd never want on your plate ever again?
Oh, I can do that quickly. One, I've got a Coban family special secret recipe of stuffing. The whole family just put all their dinner onto one side of the plate, wait for the stuffing to come out, and that takes place on the other half. The thing that I don't want on my plate would be parsnips. I bit into one once thinking it was a potato, and I got a mouthful of perfume. Now they can fuck off. Jesse?
I mean, I'm just going to go completely against that. I just have a whole plate of parsnips. Bring on the perfume.
You can keep your family stuffing.
Don't want that. Give me the perfume.
Brilliant. And what can fans expect next then from IC1s as we look into 2026?
So we're looking at shows up north. Is our first thought, and we're in talks with some people about some shows in Manchester and Glasgow and a few other places. There's a lot of appetite to go, and well, there's been a lot of people saying they want us to come and play here and there. But obviously coming back from a 10-year hiatus, we're trying to feel it all out, and trying to work out what the best move is. We know we've got a good following in Manchester and Sheffield from back in the day, and we can see that on the Spotify metrics and all that shit that you can see now. So that's the most obvious thing. And then, like Dan said earlier, we've been writing new songs, and we've got a ton of songs still knocking about from back in the day that didn't make this album. So all in, there's probably 30 or 40 songs ready to go for whatever we decide to do next. So yeah, kind of, what we've made this year from the show and the album and stuff will just be funneled straight back into a second album. And really kind of probably getting that moving as quickly as possible, I think.
Yeah, sure. Well, it certainly sounds like it's going to be a very good 2026. But look, Jesse, Dan, thanks very much for coming on the This Is the Music Meets podcast. That is unfortunately the end of the episode. Thanks, as I say, thank you both for coming on. It's been a real pleasure having you on. But before I let you go, can one of you very kindly just let the This Is the Music listeners know the social media platforms they can find you on?
This is Jesse's.
It's my forte. Facebook.com/IC1s band, or just IC1s on Facebook. And then Instagram, our handle is at IC1s__, I think, because we couldn't reclaim our old one. I don't know. Some meta nonsense. But if you just type in IC1s on either of them places, you'll find us. Brilliant.
Look, great stuff. I'll put those links in the episode bio. And as well, I think there are still a few tickets for that support show with Inspiral Carpets as well on the 10th of December. So I'll put that link as well in the episode bio. Jesse, Dan, thanks very much for coming on. It's been a real pleasure. Great to finally meet you. And I can't wait to see what's going to be in store for you next year. And I have to make sure I get myself down to your next show.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much for having us, mate.
Likewise, man. Had a great time.
Cheers, buddy.
And all that leaves me to say is to thank everyone for listening to the latest This Is The Music Meets podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on any brand new episodes. And if you're loving the podcast, I would love to hear from you. So do please leave a comment. If you are listening to this episode on Apple or Spotify podcasts, then stay tuned, because at the end of this episode, you'll be able to hear IC1's opening track from their debut album, What Took You So Long. That opening track, of course, is called Armada. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon for another This Is The Music Meets podcast. And remember, the future is bright. The future is indie.